Hello everyone and welcome to the Reddit Railway. My name is Victor and I'll be your driver. Today I have a customer submitted story to share, so all aboard! It all started at the beginning of the school year in my first period class, which was English. The teacher, who I'll refer to as Entitled Teacher, or ET for short, introduced herself and gave us a simple assignment that let her get to know us. Normally, this assignment is physically impossible to fail unless you really don't try, and I gave it my all, following the instructions and everything to a T. In the end, I only got 92 out of 100. I was kind of upset by this, and actually thought that it was something I did wrong. Looking back on it with the knowledge I now have, I know it wasn't my fault, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The semester started off decently with the usual assignments being handed out for us to do. I know that despite me putting in my best efforts into the assignments, I never get full credit for them. The semester carried on as usual, but something became increasingly obvious to me. My grade was falling fast in English and was becoming my worst class of the semester. Now I'm a student that gives my all in school, never really slacking off and always making sure I get my assignments done on time. When I looked in the grade book, almost all of my assignments had bad grades despite me trying my best. Some didn't even have grades at all. I was kind of confused as to why this was happening and kept thinking I was doing something wrong. I started believing I was becoming stupid and lazy. On top of this, whenever I went to ET to ask a question or get help for an assignment, she always gave me a vague answer. Whenever I talked in a class discussion, she always had this blank look on her face and spoke to me in a monotone voice. She was the complete opposite with my peers and was enthusiastic to hear their opinions and inputs. One time I gave my opinion on a favorite burger place. I said, "Jack in the Box," and she gave me an expression that just screamed, "Whatever, freak." She responded like I was a complete weirdo for enjoying Jack. Since then it became more apparent that she was singling me out. I started to despise going to English because of this, which really took a toll on my morale at school. My other grades started to slip as a result. Something else that ET mentioned in class was that she had a TikTok. She gave it to us and said that the class could make a TikTok one day. Spoiler, it never happened. I was one of those who followed her just for shits and giggles. A few weeks later, she would delete her account and never said anything else about it. My mum came to me asking why I was failing English. I responded by explaining everything to her. My mum was livid and immediately sent an email calling her out. I noticed immediately after this a complete change in ET's attitude towards me. She started to act ruder and alienated me more and more. My mum reassured me it was simply her being pissed and she was letting it out on me. One instance of her treating me poorly was on the day before my birthday. I decided to tie balloons to my backpack and go the whole school day carrying them around. They were train themed and the largest one was a Thomas balloon. When I entered the classroom with them, she looked at me with such disgust, like I had just killed someone. After that she continued not helping me and giving me bad grades on my assignments. One of the last notable instances was when ET was passing back an assignment we did. When I got mine, I noticed that one question had a mark from her red pen. I thought she marked it as wrong, which it wasn't. The question was so low on the paper that it was physically impossible to write underneath it, so I wrote above it and put a thick line to split the two up so she could tell that they were two separate answers. I went up to ET's desk to tell her this and said it in a very calm tone, no body language at all. I just pointed at the paper for her to see what I was talking about. She responded by saying it was an error on her part and she knew that. Then she put her hand out to my face and said, "Dude, chill out." Something I haven't mentioned until now is that she's short and kind of thin, standing at around 5 foot, while I'm almost 6 feet tall. Though I'm not in the best shape, I am stronger than I appear, so of course she would do what she did because of that. I was absolutely pissed when she said this, and I was so close to saying something really bad, but I ultimately fought the urge and just laughed it off. I went back to my seat and simply said under my breath that she was so full of shit for saying that. When asked about it later, she lied, saying I came at her aggressively and did that to keep me back. Shortly after that was finals week, the last week of school before winter break. Like every other person, I was stressed about it, but I did amazingly in all my classes. My last class was English and I was very nervous. That moment could make or break the hard work I put in throughout the semester. The morning of the exam, I decided enough was enough and I would finally pay her out for everything she did to me. It was nearly Christmas at the time, so I thought I should get into the season and give her a little present. I ultimately decided that the end of the school day was the best time to do it. That morning I got a pretty little bag and put coal in it. As the old tradition goes, naughty kids get coal. At the end of the day I put my plan into action and gave her the bag. She looked at me with such confusion. I like to think she was thinking, "Wow, after all the shit I put you through, you still got me a present?" I walked up to her desk. She was there all alone arranging papers, and there were 2 kids behind me with presents as well. Keep note of this. I said to her in the exact same monotone voice she used on me, "Happy holidays," gave her the bag and walked out the door and went home. Normally this would be the end of the story, but something happened not even a week later. We were all at home relaxing on winter break when we got a phone call from the school. My mum answered. It was the vice principal. He asked my mum why I gave E.T. a bag of coal and if she knew about it. My mum denied any involvement. VP proceeded to go on about how I shouldn't do that and should have talked to them about it. I had been doing that all semester with the school therapist, who was completely on my side. My mum retaliated by telling them about E.T.'s TikTok and what she saw on there. My mum proceeded to go on about how something like a personal TikTok account being brought up in a professional environment is definitely not the best way to maintain respect from students as an authority figure. E.T. had said at the beginning of the semester, "I think that students want to treat me as a friend because I look young." My mum also said that she treated me terribly and that the school was wrong for trying to brush me off by saying I needed counseling. She then proceeded to explain that I have autism, which I forgot to mention earlier. She said a lot more was needed for me compared to the average student. The whole time the vice principal was silent. My mum concluded by telling him to transfer me to another class for next semester, that it would be best for all parties involved. He understood, agreed, and hung up. We came out on top in the end. It turns out that E.T. lied to the VP about what happened when I gave her the coal. She said she and another teacher were talking at her desk when I slipped in, put the coal on her desk, and walked out quickly. In the end, I got switched to another teacher that my brother had when he went to that school. He's a really good teacher, and my best friend is also in that class, so all is well. Now I am happy with my new teacher and glad to be free from E.T. This is why some people shouldn't be teachers. You can't treat your students differently because of the damage it can cause. And promoting her personal TikTok to her students? Nah, not on. Very unprofessional. It's horrible the school did bugger all to help you as well. Absolutely appalling. But well done on giving your teacher coal, OP. Genius. I wish I could have been there to see her face when she opened the bag. It sounds like you're in a better place now, so fingers crossed it remains that way. Well done on putting up with that bitch. You were a lot more restrained than I would have been. Anyway, we've come to the end of our journey. Thank you for traveling on the Reddit Railway, and we hope to see you again soon.